Welcome to another Top Grades Made Easy video. I want to explain why teachers give you a paragraph structure, and then I'm going to explain why you should get rid of the paragraph structure if you want top grades. I'm going to begin with a metaphor. We have to imagine that writing a paragraph is like riding a bicycle. So teachers thought, we're teaching our students to write paragraphs, which is like teaching them to ride bicycles, and we don't want them to fall off. We don't want them to lose marks. So we need to invent a structure which will act like the stabilizers on a bicycle. The first structure we were ever given was something called the burger paragraph. And so the top of the bun was the topic you were writing about, and then the interior of the bun was the explanation, and then the bun underneath was the concluding summary sentence. Soon teachers were saying, no, that's much too confusing. Let's have a mnemonic. P, point, evidence, explanation. If students write their paragraphs in that order, they will get really good marks. Now that did work better than the burger, but students were writing explanations which didn't always score good marks. They were often too brief. And so teachers thought, no, let's go back to the food. This time we'll have P, P-E-A, and instead of an explanation at the end, we'll have an analysis. If the students are using analysis, that's at the top of the marking scheme, they'll get great marks. PEA it is. But there was another problem. Teachers found that students weren't linking back to the question, so they were sometimes being irrelevant. So there was an S added to P's, which stood for summary. And that worked for a bit, but then teachers thought, well, summary doesn't really necessarily link back to the question, so we need an L. Let's have peel paragraphs. Point, evidence, explain, link back to the question. Sorted, they're going to get high marks. But then teachers said, no, they've lost the analysis part, and yes, they'll link back, but they're missing the vital ingredient, the technique, the subject terminology. We need a T, and we need to get the A back in for analysis. Let's have petal. Point, evidence, technique, analysis, link back to the question. Oh, I'm so excited. This is gonna work, isn't it? And then teachers said, oh, when we look at the analysis, the kids don't actually know how to analyse. We need something to make the analysis inevitable. And so once teachers realised that they needed to teach analysis, they started introducing the Z, not for Zorro, but for Zoom. Zoom in on individual words and you will automatically be analysing. And so this is where we currently are with the fashion for paragraph structures. And yes, if you do everything in petal and add a Z for zoom into individual words, so petzel, you will still get everything in that you need to get the marks. But there is a massive drawback. Let me bring my drawing back. See what I did there? If I wanted to teach you to cycle, would I put stabilizers on a bicycle, or would I say to you, get on it and pedal? I would then run behind you with my hand underneath the saddle for a few seconds, maybe a few minutes, and then kaboom, you would be off pedaling away, and you would learn while you were pedaling how to ride a bicycle. Sometimes you might fall off, but it wouldn't take you long. I'm guessing that within 20 minutes you would know exactly how to ride a bicycle. Stabilizers are for 3-year-olds. They're not for students who can already balance. And that's the same with paragraphs. The paragraph structure is just there to help you if you can't write at all. How will I accelerate your progress at writing without the structure? How will I make it more like riding a bicycle? We're going to do it with the P sentence. Join me as I dive into the screen to explain. Imagine this is the extract for question 2 of paper 1. The question is, how does the writer use language here to describe the field? And the student wants to zoom in on this oak tree. So the oak tree is like a monstrous arthritic fist, and The oak was choked with strangling ivies twisted around the shattered brickwork and cracked masonry, smothering it. This is what they're going to use as part of their answer. So here it is. The writer creates a sense of danger. That is my point. The first P of pet zeal. The quote, shattered brickwork smothering it, shows this. That is the E, the evidence of pet zeal. The adjective shattered and the verb smothering all have connotations of danger. Those are the techniques or the terminology of pet zeal. They all have connotations of danger. That is my first explanation. The first E of pet zeal, which emphasizes that the field is not safe. Emphasizes is the word that I want you to use all the time. That is the second E of pet zeal. And then finally the L, the link back, was not safe, which links back to the idea of danger at the beginning. So I have a perfect paragraph structure. The EEL, the explanation and emphasize and link, that gives me an analysis that the examiner has to score highly. And so you might think Mr. Salles would be saying, I've invented a new paragraph structure. It's called Pet Zeal. It is the best on the market. Please use it. Look how fabulous it is. And it only took me 36 words. But what happens if I get rid of the paragraph structure? Well, by getting rid of the paragraph structure, I'm also going to write about this quote, the monstrous arthritic fist. When I introduce more explanations, I'm going to get more marks. Let's see how that works. Here's my new version. The impression of the field as hostile is enhanced through the choice of fist, which we associate with punching and consequently with violence. So we have an explanation. We also have the earlier explanation about it being hostile, which is going to link to the idea of danger that the previous student showed us. The imagery develops this idea of danger through the harsh consonants in the phrase shattered brickwork, smothering it. So here we have the new explanation, which, if you like, continues that one. So in this short bit of writing of 42 words, I have at least 2 explanations and I have considered 2 quotations. That is going to earn me 2 extra marks. Notice that neither of my paragraphs follows any structure. In fact, each paragraph is a sentence and it is a P sentence. I concentrate on having a point, an example and an explanation. And the more sentences you write like that, the higher your mark will be. So the student who wrote this in just 42 words is going to virtually double their marks compared to the student following the pet zeal paragraph structure. But it was only 1 explanation and it only gets 1 mark. There is one caveat here. If this was the only thing the student wrote, then it would earn more than 1 mark on its own. But let's imagine you've already gained 5 marks out of 8 or 4 marks out of 8. Adding this will only get you that extra mark, whereas the other student is going to get the extra 2 in 42 words rather than 36. Pet zeal is perfect, but it will still kill you in the exam if you want top grades, because you will simply have to write too many words to get the marks. And in an exam, the fewer words you can write to get the marks, the more points you can make. Points make prizes. Pet zeal doesn't make prizes, but P sentences do. And that's why all my guides to paper 1 and paper 2 are all written with student answers in P sentences. They're easy for you to understand and they show you how to get the marks super quickly. If you'd like another video to show you how to write P sentences in more detail, that's the one coming up now.